Hello guys, Crispy here and welcome back to another video. With this one, my friends, I'm going to be testing the GeForce GTX 1650 4GB GDDR5 in Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. We're running it using the latest Nvidia drivers, which are optimized for this game, 496.49. This one is the Gigabyte Mini OC model of the card, Mini ITX OC model of the card. And as usual, we are running it using a Ryzen 9 5900X and 32GB of RAM. Let's get right into it, shall we? And we're playing this one at 1080p resolution, as you can see, utilizing the low settings right now. Everything is set down to the lowest, and 40-something FPS. I was expecting a little bit better coming from the 1650 here. Let's continue the game. I'm not sure if you can notice it, but the sound is a little bit weird. It's cutting off a little bit sometimes. I don't really know what it is, and I can't fix it, but it doesn't seem to be a widespread issue, so that's fine. 1650 is doing a pretty good job. It's alright, you know. At least low settings still looks really decent. Even the textures look alright on low. It's not like Red Dead 2 where everything falls apart at the lowest settings. And yeah, it's performing alright as well. Everything is still super detailed. There is a lot of grass and little details all over the place. And yeah, I think I would still enjoy this game at low settings. Also, we're unlocking some achievements on Steam, by the way. And that makes the game stutter a little bit sometimes, but it's not a big deal, you know. Every time there is an achievement coming up there, or a notification basically, you can see a little frame time spike in the graph. It's not a big deal, you know. I thought the game was actually really well optimized. Wasn't expecting FPS in the 30s so often. This feels alright, it's totally playable still, but far from what I expected once again. There we go. We made it. We passed through that thing. And, yeah, we're still getting around the same FPS. What the heck? Okay, yeah, okay. So in some areas, in some planets, I guess, of this game, you are gonna see pretty bad frames per second, guys. This is very bad. Like, I was not expecting there's to be such a discrepancy. Okay. So maybe the way to go is to play at a lower resolution or like with resolution scale and not at higher settings, because you never know when you'll come across a more demanding area and then you're just gonna be screwed with your frames. Alright, let's set it to 80% render scale here and add a little bit of sharpening so it doesn't look too bad. And okay, this is actually not too bad, the visuals, but it's still super intensive. 27 FPS. Guys, I don't know, you might have to do with like 30 FPS, 40 something maybe at times, and a few drops here and there from 30 frames per second. That's just how it is, guys. To be honest, it doesn't look bad at all at low settings 1080p with 80% render scaling. If you add some sharpening, it actually looks pretty close to native 1080p resolution, especially if you run a 1080p monitor. And look at this. Over here, it's not too bad, so maybe it will only drop back there, looking at the entire map. But yeah, still pretty rough. I can definitely tell the variation there in the frame time graph. You can see it as well. The panning around is not smooth at all. Ooh, boy. I was expecting better coming from the 1650, especially after seeing the FPS in the other map. You can see that the hair doesn't look too bad, although it's a little bit fuzzy there, but okay. Okay, I think we need to go lower. That's a big shame. Maybe what, 70% render scaling, 30% sharpening at 1080p, still on the low settings, of course. Doesn't look too different. It's a little bit blurrier for sure, and it still drops into the 30s. But I think it won't really drop from 30, so that's alright. 33 there. Would I recommend you to buy this game with this card? Probably. If it was a first-person shooter, I'd stay away from it for sure, because the variation is just insane there. But if you play it with a controller, for example, lock your FPS to 30, it will be a pretty decent experience. I think from now on, we should definitely test it out in this starting level here. It's somewhat of a tutorial as well, because you learn how to do some things and control your friends and stuff like that. But it also seems to be the most intensive area, at least 3 or 4 hours into the game. That's how much I've played, actually. So yeah. Not impressive results, guys. I guess the next thing to do is actually lower the resolution. Turn this down to 0, turn the resolution scale up to 100%, and play at native 900p resolution, because a lot of people prefer to keep the resolution native and not mess around with resolution scale settings. So this is low settings. 900p should be pretty similar to what we saw so far. 30's there. Yep. And visually speaking, I think it looks very similar to 70% scaling here at 1080p with sharpening. Gonna play some football now, guys. Come on. Get over here. There it is. Beautiful. Alright, it's not too bad now that we aren't looking at the entire scene once again, you know? So again, most of the time, it will be a very playable and smooth experience. Not as smooth as I'd like. I'd love to have seen like 60 FPS at 900p, but well, this is what we have to work with. Oh my god, look at this! Looking in that direction again, 31 frames per second, 30! It might drop from 30 to 29. Alright, you know what? We're gonna try it out using 720p resolution. Here we go, 1280 by 720. Same resolution scale, same low settings here. And, oh yeah, okay, so 720p looks really bad. It looks very soft. And unless you have a smaller monitor, I wouldn't really recommend this resolution. At least we are getting like 5 more FPS than at 900p. But again, it's not really a very big difference. I really hoped for a better experience in this game, and I was thinking we were gonna get it because it performed so damn well with the RTX 3060 Ti. But of course, it's the 3060 Ti, so... yeah. I wish that DLSS would work on GTX cards as well, but it doesn't, unfortunately. Sometimes you get 60s, sometimes you get 30s. Pretty inconsistent for lower end cards, guys. And this is not that low end of a card, to be honest. I tried to launch it on the GT 1030, by the way, and it wasn't launching at all. So, like, 750 Ti's and stuff like that won't even launch the game, which is a shame, you know. But I guess if a 1650 is struggling this much, it wouldn't have been a playable experience on a 1030 anyways. Oh my god, what is happening here? 25, 27, 26. What are the minimum requirements for this game? I think it was a 1060 for 1080p low settings, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, minimum requirements, GTX 1060 or RX 570. At least on the CPU side of things, it only asks for an i5 4460 or Ryzen 5 1400. Those are pretty low-end-ish CPUs these days. But I mean, I expected a 1650 to do way better, guys. If you are out there with a laptop, like a $600-700 laptop and a GTX 1650, I thought you'd be able to enjoy this game, and I was going to recommend it, but not like this. Yeah, I am disappointed here. The slowdowns just make it not an enjoyable experience at all. If you really want to play it, you could overclock the card a little bit, you know, to achieve 30 plus all of the time at 720p, but it's 720p. It doesn't look good. And it doesn't perform well. So thank you very much for watching. Hope it was informative for you. And I will catch you in the next one very soon. As always, love you all. Bye-bye.